The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BCE. Alexander the Great's decisive triumph. Before diving in, a small historical clarification. Gaugamela was not Alexander's first victory. He had already defeated Persian forces at the Granicus River, 334 BCE, and Issus, 333 BCE. However, Gaugamela was his most decisive and world-shaping victory, the battle that shattered the Persian Empire and confirmed Alexander as master of Asia. Many later historians treated it as the moment Alexander truly became the Great. What follows is a detailed, immersive account of that battle, its causes, strategies, dramatic moments, and consequences. The Road to Gaugamela. By 331 BCE, Alexander of Macedon was only 25 years old, yet his reputation already bordered on legend. After crossing into Asia Minor, he had defeated Persian satraps, captured key cities, and humiliated King Darius III at Issus. Despite having a larger army there, Darius fled the battlefield, abandoning his family and royal treasury. Rather than pursue Darius immediately, Alexander secured the eastern Mediterranean, taking Tyre, Gaza, and Egypt, where he was crowned pharaoh and founded Alexandria. This delay allowed Darius to rebuild his forces for one final decisive confrontation. Darius chose the battlefield carefully, choosing the battlefield. The battle took place near the village of Gaugamela, close to modern-day northern Iraq. Unlike the narrow terrain at Issus, Gaugamela was a wide, open plain, deliberately leveled by Persian engineers. Why? Because Darius intended to exploit his strengths. Numerical superiority, cavalry dominance, scythed chariots, designed to tear through infantry formations. Darius assembled an enormous army ancient sources exaggerate wildly, but modern historians estimate Persian forces, approximately 100,000 to 200,000 troops, Alexander's army, approximately 40,000 infantry, and approximately 7,000 cavalry. Darius's army included Persian and Median cavalry, Bactrian horsemen, Greek mercenaries, Indian troops, 200 scythed chariots, possibly war elephants, though their role was minimal. By contrast, Alexander's strength lay not in numbers, but in discipline, training, and leadership. The night before battle, on the eve of battle, tension filled both camps. Darius, haunted by Issus, reportedly kept his army under arms all night, fearing a surprise attack. His men grew exhausted before fighting even began. Alexander did the opposite. Ignoring calls for a night attack, he allowed his troops to sleep, insisting that victory should come in open daylight. When questioned, he famously said, "I will not steal a victory." This decision reflected supreme confidence, not arrogance, but trust in his strategy and soldiers. Deployment of forces. Alexander's formation. Alexander arranged his army in a refused oblique formation, a masterpiece of tactical thinking. Right wing, commanded by Alexander himself. Companion cavalry center. Macedonian phalanx, with 18 to 20 foot. Sariss's left wing. Thessalian cavalry under Parmenian reserve units placed behind the main line to counter encirclement. This layered defense was crucial, as Alexander expected to be surrounded. Darius's formation. Darius positioned himself at the center, mounted on a chariot, surrounded by elite guards. Massive cavalry wings intended to envelop Alexander's scythed chariots, placed in front. Infantry stretched across a vast front. It looked overwhelming, but its size was also a weakness. The battle begins. As the armies advanced, Alexander did something unexpected. Instead of charging forward, he moved diagonally to the right, pulling Darius's left wing farther and farther away from the Persian center. Darius, fearing outflanking, ordered his cavalry to follow. This created gaps in the Persian line, exactly what Alexander wanted. The scythed chariots. Darius unleashed his scythed chariots early, hoping to break the Macedonian phalanx. But Alexander had prepared for this. Light infantry stepped aside. Opening corridors, javelins and spears killed horses and drivers' chariots, passed harmlessly through the lines, or where captured the psychological weapon failed. The decisive moment when Alexander saw a gap open near the Persian center, he acted instantly. At the head of the companion cavalry, he formed a wedge formation and charged directly toward Darius. This was the battle's turning point. Alexander wasn't trying to destroy the entire Persian army. He was aiming for Darius himself. As Macedonian cavalry cut through the weakened center, chaos erupted. Darius saw the danger closing in. Memories of Issus returned. He turned his chariot and fled. The moment the great king fled, the battle was effectively lost. Crisis on the left-wing victory was not yet complete. On the Macedonian left, Parmenion was in serious trouble. Persian cavalry had broken through and threatened the camp. Some Persian units even reached Alexander's rear. Alexander faced a critical choice: pursue Darius and possibly kill him, or turn back to save his army. He chose loyalty over glory. Alexander broke off the pursuit and returned to stabilize the left wing, eventually driving off the Persian cavalry. This decision ensured total victory, but allowed Darius to escape once more. The aftermath Persian losses were catastrophic: tens of thousands killed or captured. Macedonian losses were relatively light. Darius fled east, but his authority was broken. Within a year, he would be betrayed and murdered by his own satraps. Alexander marched unopposed into Babylon, Susa Persepolis, which he famously burned. The Persian Empire, which had dominated the Near East for over 200 years, ceased to exist. Why Gaugamela matters. The Battle of Gaugamela changed history. It marked the end of the Achaemenid Persian Empire. It spread Greek culture across Asia, Hellenism. It proved that strategy and leadership could defeat overwhelming numbers. It cemented Alexander's image as a near-mythical conqueror more than a victory. Gaugamela was a demonstration of military genius. Alexander's true first victory, while not his first battle, Gaugamela was Alexander's first uncontested claim to global dominance. After this, he was no longer merely a Macedonian king invading Persia. He was the ruler of the known world. From this moment on, history would remember him not just as Alexander of Macedon, but as Alexander the Great,